quick warning, this podcast is uncensored. We talk about sex, fashion and everything in between. Expect strong language, adult themes and a lot of oversharing. If that's not for you, skip this one. Hi, welcome to Fashion Is My Foreplay. We are joined by an amazing guest, Ruben. I have been a huge stalker.
I love my stalkers.
So I found you on Instagram. Obviously this is like the first time we've met, and it was a reel you did where you were talking about being a builder or something.
Yeah.
And then it was like the whole...
Yeah, that reel did really well, which I wasn't really expecting. It was me painting myself green.
Yes.
And talking about the point when I started doing things like painting myself green.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was it, I remember. And I remember, I suppose it was kind of, I don't want to say shock, because it's not shocking, but then it is the whole idea of queer people working in a building industry.
Yeah.
Same as women working in a building industry. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Not that it shouldn't. It just doesn't.
I really enjoyed working on construction sites for a while. I used to do it like on the side while I was at school and at uni. I did labouring. Started off, my friend's dad was a builder. I'd work with him, and then I really just enjoyed being on site. It was funny because it felt like I was performing masculinity. I was like walking around being like, wow, like people looking at me as some like big masculine man. Whereas really I'm like listening to Drag Race music in my headphones as I'm tearing up these floorboards.
Everywhere's a catwalk, even a building site.
No, it really was, and I really enjoyed it. And it was always funny the way that I would be read, like when I'd be sitting on the tube on the way back with like messy trousers and like paint on my face and stuff like that, and I'd be like, wow, it's so funny how people are perceiving me right now.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I've always said that I want to date a mechanic just so then they can fix my car. And then I was like, fuck it, why don't I become a mechanic?
Yeah, date yourself. I mean, I would date a mechanic so they could fix my car if I even had a license. But there's a lot of steps I need to get to before dating a mechanic could be useful.
Or dating a hairstylist. That was another one I always thought would be a good one.
Very good.
Basically, I just think about what the most expensive things are in my life. That's where I found you from. I thought it was super fun, super interesting. And then obviously got hooked by the green and just the body paints in general. And then the fashion kind of followed, I suppose, because it was kind of the next sort of part of your social media is obviously focusing on the fact that you're a creative and you make avant-garde. Kind of not ready to wear, but like ready to wear avant-garde.
Yeah.
How would you describe it?
Honestly, the way I describe it kind of changes day to day. I would say that in a very broad sense, the clothes that I make kind of fit somewhere between like drag, streetwear, and kind of like queer over the top artistic clothing. Yeah. I like to, the way that I like to think about it at the moment is I like to make things that allow queer people to be as authentic within themselves and their expression as possible, and really, really perform that in an over-top way. I really like to also blend the kind of line between fantasy and reality. So when I'm designing a look or designing an outfit, I'm kind of thinking about the character who would wear this.
Oh, fun.
So
okay.
this is like this like sexy jock from this kind of universe who's like a demon, so he'd wear these kinds of things. Or like this one's more mechanical, this one's more like a clown-like. Yeah. But it always like comes down to like making.
So it kind of comes
at the end.
a little bit of like creating a character. I suppose that's a really fun way of putting it.
Yeah, completely. I mean, that's how I got into fashion design. Really, was through character design. That's
fun.
kind of how I found it really, really exciting. So my big references are drag and sci-fi and video games. Really,
they work quite well together as well.
Yeah, completely, because they're about designing characters and communicating something about you through what you wear, which obviously is a big part of fashion. But it's a
huge part of drag.
Huge part of drag.
Yeah.
It is what drag is, and it kind of is what
and I think
like
drag has really developed over the past maybe 10 years as opposed to a man dressing as a woman.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to call it at the beginning. To now drag is very much like so very different. I think it was when Milk came on Drag Race.
Yeah,
Milk
changed
the beard and then everyone was like, you can't do that, it's not drag. And then Milk was like, it is drag. And then everyone was like, it is drag.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I remember being like 14 watching Milk on Drag Race, being so blown away just be like one gorgeous man, but being like
obsessed.
I can live my life like this. It's so funny actually. You bring up Milk because that was the era of drag and like club kid artists and stuff that really has influenced so much of what I do now. I kind of have this like plethora of drag and like New York club kids from that era that I'm really, really obsessed with and inspired by. And they were all about like questioning how you can exist in the real world and how what you changes in the way you present yourself, the way that impacts the way that you exist in the real world, you know? And it was all about designing characters and not doing something just because this is the way that it should be done.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that it's really, really inspired a lot of what I do now. I think what I really like to play with now is there's something very like conventionally attractive and normal in what I do, but at the same time, there's this very different element to it. For example, like I love wearing quite a normal outfit, but painting myself green.
Yeah.
Like that's fun because it's like objectively I look good, but I also look very out there. Like I'm not just doing it for like shock factor looking weird. Like this looks cool.
It does look really good. And you do it well. It's not just let's put some body paint on. Like you've contoured. You've made sure that like everything is perfectly, and you don't have green on the clothes or like anything like that. I was actually really looking at one of
spray.
I was looking at one of your reels today, and it was the way you were talking about how you paint yourself green and like the way you do it and things. And I was like, shit, yeah, if that was me, there'd be green fucking everywhere.
That being said, there is a reason I don't paint myself green day to day, because if I did, there would be some remnants of green on the sofa right now.
Don't worry, I had a guest that came on with body glitter, so you might be leaving with body glitter.
Amazing.
I was into it.
Podcast and body glitter.
So then you started with this idea of sort of like drag and sci-fi. But then how did you physically start with the whole like how did you learn to actually create?
So I've always been very creative. Like making things has always kind of been the underpinning of the way I like to spend my time. I went to a Steiner school in Norway.
I went to a Steiner school!
You? No way! I love meeting other Steiner people. No one will
understand this.
If any Steiner person is watching this right now, I see you and I love you.
Oh my god.
Okay?
Every time I meet a Steiner person, it's just like a whole new thing. Oh my god,
Steiner education is so fab because it's about creativity, exploring.
It's all about out the box.
Being
like,
out the box, taking things at your pace, like doing what works for you rather than like.
Oh my god, I actually can't believe this.
I enjoy that you like understand what this is.
Understand.
I mean, Steiner education is slightly different in Norway and England from
yeah, I can imagine. I went to a Steiner school in Germany as well for like a week.
Oh, fab.
Like
Norway and German Steiner
and it was different, but it was the biggest Steiner school in Berlin. Actually, it was insane. They had like goats. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, I love.
No, my school was in the middle of a forest, in the middle of a field, and during winter I'd ski to school.
Oh my god!
Like, I say that and people think I'm exagerating.
No, I feel you.
I skied to school.
I could imagine that's totally happening.
It was fab. I learned how to whittle things with a knife.
Yes.
Before I could
basket
read.
weaving.
Exactly. Knitting.
Did you
clay,
dance around
crochet.
a maypole?
We didn't have a maypole, but did you do eurythmy?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
With the eurythmy shoes.
Yeah. And the gowns.
Yeah, and you had to like spell your name with dance.
Yeah, exactly. But in Norwegian we called it eurythmy.
Oh my god, everyone is going to be like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, skip to the non-Steiner school section.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about this.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so cool.
I think that so I was there from the age of 3 till 9.
Oh
so
wow,
I moved back to the UK when I was 9, moved to Norway when I was 3. And so a lot of my kind of way of living, I've realised now, is really underpinned by that era of my life, which was so much about expression, creativity, exploration.
Did you come back to a Steiner school in the UK?
No.
Oh
so
wow,
I went
that
to
must
like
have been a massive change.
That was a crazy huge transition for me.
See, I did it the other way round. Well, I've had a crazy schooling career. I did like private boarding school, then I did state school, and then I did Steiner.
God, you've done all the different...
I've done everything.
All the different ones.
But yeah, so I went to Steiner for class 8, class 9, class 10.
Wow,
yeah.
That's a really interesting time to go to Steiner from...
Yeah, they couldn't deal with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still hold it at such a high... I sent my son there.
Yeah.
Like, it's... My whole belief and ethos follows from Steiner.
Completely. I would love to when/if I eventually have kids, would love to send them to Steiner School for Early Education.
Yeah, it's so important.
I think it's so important because I remember moving to the UK and being like, you bitches have been sitting in classrooms from the age of 4, learning how to write words with 12 letters in them. Who cares? You are 4 years old. You don't need to learn how to do that yet.
Literally.
Like, I was learning about the alphabet at a very basic level when I was 7. I learned to read around that time.
Because
I
when
got
they
an A in
started.
English A level.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying that to flex. I'm just saying, like, I was fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. Like, you don't need to learn how to read a full, like, Harry Potter novel at the age of 5. Like, you just don't.
No.
Learn to play. Learn to have fun.
Yeah.
You know?
And the main lesson books. Oh
Yeah.
my God. And they were so beautiful because you cared.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
as a student, like, you genuinely cared about, like,
I loved
what
going
the
to school.
work that you were putting out there. And that follows you through life.
Yeah.
Like, because now you are literally there thinking, like, you know, is this to a point that I actually want to present it outward? And that's what Steiner teaches you. And I think it's amazing in a creative industry.
I think Steiner also teaches, like, the importance of creative authenticity.
Yeah.
In the way that you're not making something for it to be a capitalistic product. You're making something because it's a way of life.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad that that's a lot of how I've approached a lot of the work that I make now, because I think it could be very easy to apply some of my interests or skills into a kind of much more of like an industrial sense, but then I wouldn't be able to have as much room for creativity within that.
Yeah.
But they're teaching you how to learn.
That's
the thing.
Yes.
Is that I really found coming back to the UK, because I moved to the UK then when I was 9, and I went to a state school in South London.
Oh,
Had
wow.
a wonderful time, but it was such a shift. It was
Such
like
a change.
it's a little concrete playground wearing a school uniform, and it was very, very bewildering. But I think that I very much have the mindset of, like, if I want to learn how to do something, or I see something that I like, I believe that I can get to a point where I can do that.
Yes, they teach you how to research, basically.
Don't have that mindset, and I think that's like, because this all stemmed from you asking me, how did you learn to do the things that you do? Most of the things that I do now, I haven't had formal education in. I've just got on with it.
Yeah.
And now I can do them.
And that is such a Steiner child.
Yeah. Before we start talking about this, you were talking about how you were taught how to make things in fashion school. I didn't go to fashion school. I've never been taught how to do things like pattern cutting, all that kind of stuff. I just started making clothes. Yeah. And now I can do it. I did go to Kingston School of Art, fantastic art school. Foundation there was great, but I studied product and furniture design. I was in an era where I was trying to do more traditional design and more sensible art and
So you didn't have any sort of like formal fashion training, let's call it?
No, I've worked in a few different fashion and jewelry studios.
Oh, and jewelry.
Yeah, so I actually
Fun.
When I decided I wanted to pursue the fashion direction, I originally decided I wanted to do jewelry. My uncle and aunt are jewelry designers, so I learned a lot about that from quite a young age, and I really, really enjoyed it. I still make some stuff, like I made this ring here.
Oh, wow.
And so that was kind of how I originally got into it, and then I went to Berlin, where I lived for a year, and there I worked.
Fucking love Berlin.
It's fab. It's so,
Berlin fashion
so
is my favourite fashion, I think.
So I worked in a fashion studio there, and it was very much like Berlin nightlife fashion. It was harnesses.
Oh my God, did you go to the club? The club, what's it called?
Berghain.
That's the one.
I did go to Berghain.
How was that?
Berghain is crazy. I mean, it's like the way I always describe it is, it's like a crazy Sith Lord's mansion, but he is obsessed with BDSM and is very, very gay, and like loves an industrial vibe and loves techno. Like it's literally, you're stepping into a fantasy universe, and it's amazing. At the end of the day, it's still just a club. Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Worth a go.
Definitely worth a go. I think but the thing about it is, there's that whole thing of like, oh, will you be able to get in? Will you not be able to get in? It's not that deep either way. No. It's not about like, oh, are you cool enough? Is it exclusive enough? It's just about if you fit the vibe, and the bouncers know that. Yeah. If you get let in, it's because you would have a good time there, and if not, it's because it's not really your thing. Yeah. And it's really not everyone's thing. It's a lot.
I can imagine. I could imagine it's a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress again.
That was crazy though, because I moved there when I was 21.
Oh, what a time.
So I moved to Berlin at 21, and I worked at this Berlin nightlife fashion studio, and I was going to all the clubs like 5 nights a week. Insane era of my life.
You must still be tired.
I very much am. I'm like, I don't need to party anymore, because I did 10 years worth of partying in about 6 months. And I loved it. But yeah, so I worked in a fashion studio there at Perlenzau, still like shout out to Nina. She's incredible. I had such a wonderful time working there, and there it wasn't traditional fashion in the sense of like making stuff out of fabric and all that kind of stuff. It was making harnesses and big kind of intersection of fashion and jewelry pieces, like big accessories, and it was really, really fun. But I think once again it kind of like taught me like how to just make things more so than necessarily like a specific skill. And then
and like to make things in a non-traditional manner as well.
Yeah, completely. I've always really enjoyed sewing, but I was very much like a hand sewing kind of person.
Oh my god.
And then I got a machine and I kind of just started using it. I was like, I imagine this is how it works. And then I started by cropping clothes and like taking things in and make them fit.
Yeah, so like a little bit of like upcycling almost.
Yeah, that was kind of how I started getting into it.
But now
I know now, and then
you're making bloody structures.
Yeah, I'm like tailoring. I'm like, whoa, when did this start happening? I don't know. I think that I'm very much like a shapes and like 3D oriented mind. Like that's where my mind works really well, and I think that's why the kind of 2D into 3D just makes sense in my mind.
Yeah.
So making a pattern and then seeing, okay, if I do this thing here, it will be constructed in this way once I sew it together.
You can kind of almost like see the end product and work backwards. Yeah. That's how I work with fashion as well. Yeah. Draping, don't put me on a fucking drape. I'm not going to be able to drape. Like, I can't do that. But structures, I'm totally like you with that one.
Yeah. I
much prefer it.
Yeah. But I think that that's the thing which I'm really glad about in terms of fashion, is that a big part of me is like, oh, it would have been really great to go to fashion school or something like that. But I think the thing that I'm glad
was good.
about, this is the thing, I hear this a lot from people, and I'm glad that I wasn't too bothered from the get-go about like, oh, I have to make this really perfect, impressive thing. My brief was always, I want to make this thing because I want it. Like, that's good enough for me. And now I feel like I've gotten to a point where I've made enough things for myself that people like the things that I make. And trust me to make them things.
It's really interesting talking to you about this actually, because I'm looking back at like how I started and my my way of making things, and now I'm thinking, is that a Steiner thing? Because I feel very much the same as like I was making portfolios and stuff at fashion school that they're not like, it wasn't anything like a normal fashion student, and they were just like, whoa, like this is crazy, and like and I was just like, yeah, it'll be fine, like Trust the vision, trust the process. God, yeah, in third year, I would just, every tutorial I had and every crit I had. What was the degree again? So I did product and furniture design. Okay, yeah. So like most people were making like chairs and things like that, and I came in and I was like, so I want to make an immersive club installation, and I also want to turn loads of people into sexy fashion aliens. And they were like, I love that. Why don't we make you a chair instead? So every crit I had was basically like convincing my tutors that my work was valid, and I kind of gave up. I was a bit like, oh no, but I know I want to make this, but I gave up trying to convince them. I still made what I wanted to make. Oh, okay, yeah. And I'm so happy with what I made in uni. I loved it. I turned. Did we get fashion aliens? Yeah, we got fashion aliens. I made a series of fashion aliens, and then I made a big projection installation where I projected those fashion aliens into like immersive like club spaces and DJ'd with them. It was a great time. And yeah. Wait, don't tell me you DJ as well. So I don't DJ as much now. I used to DJ a lot. God, you are so creative. I used to love DJing. When are you opening your own club? Honestly, with a like, side shop, so you could buy your clubbing outfit and then go to the club. No one steal our idea. This is patented as we speak. There's a club in Brighton called Patterns, and that would have been such a good name for our club. Patterns. I feel like I've been to Patterns. Ooh. But in first year, I visited my friend in Brighton and went to Patterns. I was in a very different era at that point. Yeah. So they wouldn't have seen me in the way that I am now. Then I was in my, I'm trying to be like conventionally attractive, straight passing gay guy who wears normal things era. And I look back on him like, oh, babes. Wears normal things? Yeah, I know. Get it together. Yeah, I mean, I battled with a lot of internalized homophobia at that point. Oh, really? Yeah, and I really was trying so hard to be like normal and palatable. I think that I
knew that what I really desired was very out there, and it's very much reflected in what I do now, you know. And I didn't really see or feel a space for myself to exist in that way.
Do you see it now?
Completely.
Yeah. What changed?
So actually, it was around the time when I started making things. Or started making the kinds of things that I make now.
Yeah.
I had been in this era where I tried really, really hard to conform. And I think it's funny because, like, looking back on it, I think a lot of people will be like, Ruben, you didn't do that good of a job at conforming. But it was a lot of conforming for me, okay? So this was around first year, and yeah, I was doing this degree, and I was surrounded by a lot of straight men, and I was trying really hard to like fit in, and I had a lot of straight friends, and trying to be that guy, and trying to be traditionally handsome, and all this kind of stuff, and then lockdown hit, and
the joys.
Yeah, the first lockdown, huge, just ongoing breakdown, very, very bad mental space. I was so anxious, and I was so unsettled, and I was so like depressed, and I was so manic, and I was just so all over the place, and I had no idea what I wanted to do with myself and my time and my
I think
space.
a lot of people went through that.
Yeah, I don't think that was unique to me.
No, but like I think it was that kind of like, shit, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Everyone sort of like looked back at their life and thought, fuck.
Well, so the first lockdown was really hard because it was that, and then
were you in uni during lockdown?
I was in first year. Then yeah,
that sucks.
And then second lockdown, I think what was great about lockdown, and this actually, like, obviously I really wish lockdown
I'm not gonna lie, I loved lockdown.
I think it was so important for me.
Yeah.
Because it took away all of the outside voices.
Yeah.
It took away
you weren't suddenly then surrounded by all of these. Yeah.
I was like sitting by myself in my bedroom being like, but what do I want to do?
Yes.
If I take away everyone that I'm performing for, like what is it that I want to get out of this? And that's when I started doing makeup looks. That's when I started making clothes. That's when I started making jewelry, because I was like, well, the things that I'm actually interested in and spending time with are drag, video games, these artists and creatives that I've been looking up to for so long. This is what I'm interested in. And I have a lot more free time now, and a lot of time to make these things. So I'm just gonna start.
Yeah.
Really. And it was fun. I did it for me. Like I wasn't doing it to post things or all that kind of stuff that I do now.
But then I think that's a natural progression anyway.
For sure. Yeah. It was when Drag Race season UK 2 and season 13 were coming out.
UK 2, was that
so
Bimini?
Bimini and Tayce. So Bimini, Tayce and Gottmik, I would say, are like the three people who really like pushed me to do exactly what I wanted to do now.
That was such a good season.
Such a good season.
Bimini is actually my idol.
Yeah, Bimini's incredible. But I think Bimini was amazing because Bimini's whole thing was just like
fuck it.
Do whatever you want to do. You don't have to do things the ways other people are doing.
I can't remember who won that season.
Lawrence Chaney, also fantastic queen.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic, very, very talented. I think very deserving winner, but I think that Bimini and Tayce spoke to me because it was like seeing a person of colour who was there successfully, gorgeously, beautifully putting themselves out there was so amazing to see. And then Bimini, who was just questioning everything, and then Gottmik from season 13, who was so outward in their artistic expression.
Yes.
Painting themselves white, wearing
amazing
these crazy avant-garde
makeup.
things. And I would sit there watching Gottmik's makeup tutorials, doing their makeup.
Oh,
and
fun.
I was watching a lot of Drag King makeup tutorials as well at that time. Because I love drag, but I'm not...
I was going to say, do you define yourself as...
I had a point when I really defined myself as a drag artist. I wouldn't really as much now, because... I mean, for me, it was like... The female impersonation side was never that interesting for me personally. I love it for other people. It just doesn't speak to me as much. For me, it's much more like creature.
And this is what I was saying earlier about, I feel like that's kind of shifted a bit now anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like there's a new
understanding
player in the room.
Yeah, completely. But I think I just view it as an extension of myself now. It's my artistry.
It's less of a character.
I can see it as drag in some ways, but also it's not that important to define it or not to define it, I find now. But yeah, so I started doing makeup, I started making clothes, that's when I made my portfolio to apply to work at, when I did a placement at this fashion studio in Berlin. And it kind of all went from there. And ever since then, this has kind of been my focus. And it's really cool now because I've really gotten to a place where I can see how much I've evolved in that time. That was now 4 years ago. So at this time when if we really bring it back to the beginning of the podcast, when I was working at this building site, I was working at this building site during lockdown, and I'd go there during the day. There was a week. I'd go there during the day, and every night I came back and I would do makeup looks. And they're so funny to look back on now because they're so busted.
Oh, don't ask me about makeup. I can't do makeup. Like, it's never been my thing. I've always done hair I like, and clothes I like. Makeup, I think it's too technical for me. Yeah,
but so fair. It's not everyone's.
I feel like I have a very basic makeup look, which is also because I've got older sisters and a mum who've always been very, very makeup heavy. I've always just kind of like copied theirs. Yeah. So I think I'm just stuck in like 90s makeup and forever will be. Pencil eyeliner, I'm that every day.
Yeah. But I think that I don't think makeup is an essential. I think that makeup is a for me at least, is a thing to like enter a certain kind of mindset. Yeah. I don't do everyday makeup. I sometimes do a bit of like a shadow to go to the club or something, like eyeshadow, but it's like I'm either painting myself purple or I'm not doing makeup, you know.
It's one extreme
purple,
or the other.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it was just really fun, and now
you've kind of started your own brand label.
Yeah, I mean,
custom.
I do customs.
Yeah, custom.
That's mainly my thing. So I do customs, and I make looks and stuff like that. I love making looks for other people. I love dressing queer people. I love allowing other people to embody the feeling that they want to embody in that moment. You know, I think that as queer people, we don't really get clothes that are made to fit us in the way that we actually want clothes to fit. Yeah. And the way that I got into making the clothes that I do now is by editing clothes to make them fit me in the way that I want it to fit. So being able to make something that is perfectly custom made for a queer person so they can feel really, really elevated is such a nice feeling. Yeah. It's such a nice feeling, and I really, really value it so much. And also, it's like I'm designing a character. I'm like, without you even fully knowing it, like I've just like turned you into someone who exists in my fantasy lands. 2 birds with 1 stone.
I think a lot of people as well don't understand until you are like making clothes or that and the other. Clothes are, see, I always say fashion is not gendered. It's not like you can wear whatever the fuck you want. It's great. But making clothes is very gendered. Yeah. Because you have certain nicks and tacks and, you know, busts and waists and shoulders and stuff like that. But I suppose what you're doing is kind of like keeping what's needed, but then taking away what isn't, or accentuating things to make it. I think that's really clever.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. I think that that's been for a long time what I viewed as my shortcoming was that I didn't have the technical fashion education. I didn't have this is how you construct for men. This is how you construct for women. Here's the specific measurements you need to use for this. But what I can do is someone can send me over a list of measurements and I can make something that fits them perfectly.
See, that's incredible. You know, because I did that.
Yeah.
And I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, they never taught us that.
Yeah.
So if anything, you've walked away with a much more valuable skill.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the thing about it all right now is that I'm figuring out where this is going, just as everyone is watching me do it. Not everyone. Not like everyone does that. Everyone's eyes are on me. I'm really enjoying the point that I'm at now. I really enjoy.
I was going to say, like, what is your future goals, I suppose? Like, where is it going?
So right now, I'm really liking making custom things for people, and I'm really enjoying making content around it. I really enjoy showing the process from A to Z when making a look. And I think for me, the thing that I think with fashion is that I think that everyone could really, really value or like learn something from being able to customize things themselves or being able to make things that fit you in the way that is right for you. Not everyone can afford to get a custom garment done. That's not a thing that's accessible for everyone, but everyone can learn how to take in a shirt to make it fit you the way that you want, or how to crop something, or how to take in the waist of something, or how to add patterns onto something. That's something that people can learn, and I really enjoy the value in that just as much as making something custom for people. I would love to get more into, like, I would love to, for like promotional things, for like, because I'm a really big sci-fi geek, I'm a really big video game diva. I would love to make looks for like upcoming films that are coming out, all that kind of stuff, like getting into the more costumey side of things, but in a promotional way. Like, you know, I've just done like an Alphaba look. I would love to go on the red carpet dressed as Alpha Boy, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff I find really, really fun. I think in the long term, there is definitely a part of me that sees a brand coming in terms of making a collection and selling it. But at the same time, I'm not rushing to get there.
No, that's a really good way to be.
Yeah.
Like, don't just do it for the sake of it. Like, do it when you want to do it.
Yeah. Because I enjoy performing. I enjoy presenting. I enjoy making content. And I also enjoy making clothes. And I enjoy chatting to people like this.
Yeah.
You know, those are all equally as important for me. It's not.
And you are great with your content. Like, I feel like it's very likable. And it's not your typical sort of content creator where it's like, oh, this person's living an unreachable life.
Yeah, but that's the thing. For example, like, I love making a lot of my videos in my bedroom because I'm like, yeah, I'm very real about the fact that like this is where I make my stuff.
Yeah.
I've just got a studio to make my clothes in like near my house, which is amazing, and I'm really, really grateful for that. But I still do loads of my stuff at home. I don't pretend that I'm in a situation that I'm not in.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's why I also really like telling the backstories of me making stuff, these clothes and all this kind of stuff, because I'm not trying to pretend that I'm some like hotshot fashion diva who's got all this shit together. I'm like, no, I am a guy in my bedroom painting myself green.
Yeah.
Who's like made this thing because I like having big shoulders and a small waist. You know, like that's what I like to do. I like to do this because I'm just as in on the fantasy as you are of.
Oh, I like that.
Of turning myself into something. We're starting at the same point, but I'm turning myself into a sexy fashion alien.
I love it. That's a really good way of putting it. I'm into the fantasy as much as you are. Yeah. Do you find that even though you've got a studio, you're still sewing at like 3 a.m, just like randomly getting the urge?
Well, completely. So this is the thing that's been difficult with getting a studio, is that I got the studio because I was like, I need to have more structure in my life. I need to be able to like go there at 9 and leave at 5 so I can have a work-life balance.
I tried that.
But I thrive on having a few days where I do nothing but sew and then not work for a few days. Like, that's how I work. Yes. I miss having all of my things in my bedroom because I could wake up, immediately go to my sewing machine, and then stay up till 5 a.m. sewing, because that's what I felt like doing. I find it really hard to do the 9 to 5 structure thing. It's good to not have all of my materials in my bedroom because my bedroom just got very, very
sewing
cluttered.
As a hobby or a career or however you want to do it, you need fucking space. You need space.
Yeah, it's crazy and I love it, but yeah, it's very consuming. It's very consuming because you get into such a flow. And my studio is 24-hour a day access.
That's really good. I was going to say, when I was looking for studios, it had to be 24-hour.
Has to be. And my most productive hours are during the night. Not going to lie. If I really want to bash out a project, 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. That's what I can get. Like, I can work at 3 times the pace that I can from 9 to 5. Genuinely, I'm not even joking about that.
Isn't it?
I can be so productive at that point. The next day is ruined, obviously, because I've been up till 5 a.m. But I think also now that I'm not as much of a big party diva as I used to be, I've almost like replaced going to the club with listening to like techno music and sewing till 5 a.m. instead.
I feel you. My friend, she's got a fashion brand in Brighton, and she is so good at waking up, doing it at 9, finishing at 5, and then just that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you live like this?
Yeah.
Like, she's just got it down to a T. It's like an actual job.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah, I try, but some days I do.
But the space must be so worth it, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I definitely, towards the end of having everything in my bedroom, especially when I was getting commissions and I was making a lot of content and stuff, I got such cabin fever because I was just in my room all the time.
Yes.
But I think that I really valued having my room as my studio for a long time because a lot of the stuff that I was doing for a long time was mine. It was I got into it during lockdown when I was in my own space.
Yeah, I suppose when you're making it your own stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in my own safety net and I was building my own little world, and therefore it was nice to kind of be in that space. But now that I share so much of my work with the world, or at least try to invite other people in on it, I was kind of getting to a point where I was like inviting people for fittings in my bedroom, and I was like, this is not even professional. I should think about it in a different way now.
I know, that's like literally how I feel like whenever I'm like, do you want to come on the podcast? Ignore the crazy house.
But then again, like, I love it. Like, coming here today is fab because you actually get an insight into the person's life.
Yeah, and I suppose it kind of feels a little bit like for the podcast. I mean, it feels a little bit more conversation, but more like friends just chatting as opposed to like, come and sit in my studio. Here are my questions. Thank you so much for listening or watching that episode of Fashion Is My Foreplay. If you enjoyed this episode, then don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok or YouTube. All of it is at Fashion Is My Foreplay. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leaving a quick review really helps the pod get seen by some more people. Make sure you tap subscribe and turn notifications on so you never miss a new episode. And also, if you'd like to go one step further and support the show, then you can head over to the Buy Me a Coffee link in my Instagram bio. It's a great way just to help us keep creating and, you know, making more of this. I'll see you next week for another episode of Fashion Is My Foreplay.